This is Transition News on Atlantic Television Network. Residents of Obudu local government of Cross River State have expressed outrage against one Matthias Amunde, who alongside his friend murdered his own mother on Christmas Day last year. Police personnel in the Obudu Divisional Command trailed and arrested Matthias and his friend, whose name was given as Marcus, who confessed that he and Marcus used hammer and planks to repeatedly hit his mother on the head till she died. Matthias said they later took his mother's hairs to a shrine so that they could perform money rituals to enable him become rich, and while people in Obudu have condemned his actions and called on the authorities not to spare the culprits. One Mr. Paul Adoga said the man has no justification to kill his mother for any reason, and while commenting on his Facebook page, Joe Boy blamed the development on peer pressure, while on the other hand, Victor Akbesen advised that parents should bring up their children with fear of God. Mr. Akuso Kusam Bahogo urge people to pray God to grant them the grace to be contented with what they have. Meanwhile, the police have also arrested the shrine operator, adding that all suspects are awaiting prosecution. Fears of threat and panic hit the minds of many during the midnight bomb explosion that occurred in Umweke community in Beri in Mbatoli local government area of Imo State. Eyewitness said the explosion, which occurred at a newly completed family house on Saturday night, reduced the house to rubble, though no casualty was recorded, while neighbors from neighboring villages called to ask the cause of the explosion. He said the couple had worked hard to complete the building and were planning to move in this year, but they cannot do so again, adding that they all slept with one eye open for fear of attack. Efforts to get the reaction of the state police spokesperson DSP Henry Okoye proved the bot vs number did not connect. Now, Enugu State Governor Peter Mba has signed Executive Order Number 1, 2025, designating some areas in the state as urban areas, including the Land Use Regulation of 2025. A statement on its website said the entire Enugu East, Enugu North, and Enugu South local government areas have been designated urban areas by the provisions of the executive order titled Enugu State Designation of Land as Urban Areas, while the entire Udi, Akano West, Akano East, and Nsukka Council area have been designated as urban areas. Others created as urban areas as Niebo, Oduma Urban Area, Ungu Town, Ihe, Ngbogugu, Ngbowo, Isiawa, Maku, Ituku, and Oweli Court urban areas, as well as Ogbuabua and Oge in Eziagu local council area, while Ogbede, Ukehi, and Uku in Igbo Ekiti, Enugu Eziko in Igbo Eze North local government, and Ikem and Ehia Umufa in Isi Uzo local government area have been so designated. The other equally designated Oji River, Ugwaba, and Inyi in Oji River Council area, Obolo, Afo, and Oba in Udeno Council area, Uluokpa and Adani, Unuzo, Nwani local government area as urban areas. Speaking on the development, Mba said the order would enable the prospective applicants to easily know what their fees were and the timelines that the application would be processed. While commending his team for the good job done, the governor promised that there would be adequate public enlightenment on the processes of land transaction under the new order, land use regulation, and the Enugu Geographic Information Service. Lagos State Police Command has arrested a 21-year-old U.S. returnee, David Shegun, and 2 others for allegedly killing an Uber driver in the Obalende area of Lagos State. The Commissioner of Police, Ishola Oranwaju, who disclosed this while parading the suspects at the State Command headquarters, said Shegun and his friends Emeka Akwara, Samuel Ariori and Lukman Ariori ordered an Uber ride from Chevron in Lekki to Obalende at midnight on Thursday, January 9th. The only area in Obalende, the suspect allegedly robbed and killed the Uber driver by stabbing him multiple times in the neck, and the suspects were unable to snatch the vehicle, and 2 among them were apprehended on the spot by members of the community. The police chief further said 2 other fleeing suspects were arrested in the Chevron area of the state, adding that the deceased corpse was deposited in the morgue at a mainland hospital in Yaba. Olanrewaju, who explained had begun into the incident, described Shegun as a U.S. returnee as well as the gang's leader, while other suspects were paraded for kidnapping, cultism, armed robbery, carjacking, and other various acts of criminalities. The Commissioner of Police also said the command had intelligence-led policing during the yearly tide season, which resulted in a peaceful celebration. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested the traditional chief priest of the Ogunkono Shrine, Baru Ali of Aja, Lekki, following a 3-month manhunt. Also known as Malo, was apprehended after 2,760 kilograms of skunk were discovered from his shrine on October 25th, 2024. A statement released on Sunday by the agency spokesperson Femi Babafemi said while 2 of Bariu's accomplices had been arrested, charged and convicted last year, the chief priest was identified as the leader of the drug syndicate from the shrine. Intercepted a 40-foot trailer loaded with 2,217.6 kilograms of skunk, a strain of cannabis, during an intelligence-led operation in the Kagini area of Kubwa, Abuja. In another raid in the FCT, NDLEA officers arrested 2 suspects, Anthony Nnamdi and Abba Ali in Yanya, where they recovered 1.398 kilograms of cocaine and a precursor substance used in preparing crack cocaine. Babafemi also said 230 grams were intercepted from a cargo shipment bound for Australia at a logistics. The cocaine was concealed in face cream containers. Road accidents have claimed the lives of at least 2 persons, injuring 1 on the Lagos-Badagry Expressway on Saturday. The unit commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, William Manga, who confirmed the incident and accident, said the accident occurred at about 3:27 p.m. at Age Mowo Expressway. According to him, the accident involved a Toyota Matrix car and a Bajaj tricycle with no plate number, while the FROSC commander further said the accident was due to dangerous overtaking resulting in head collision. Maga said the injured person was taken to the General Hospital in Badagry for medical attention, while the corpses of the deceased were deposited at the mortuary of the hospital. The unit commander urged motorists plying the Lagos-Badagry Expressway to remain cautious of safety and obey traffic regulations on the one-way lane. Late-night fire has gutted a popular food commodity market in Ikpetumodu, the headquarters of the Ife North local government area of Osun State. Eyewitnesses said the market, popularly called Akinola Market, opens on Fridays, while the Ife North started at the yam section before it spread to other parts, destroying food items worth millions of naira. A resident, Sola Miniolana, said people thronged the market in the early hours of Saturday, sympathizing with shop owners over the incident. Meanwhile, confirming the incident, spokesperson of the Osun State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Kehinde Adeleke, the incident was caused by deaths set on fire by shop owners after the day's business. Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has defended the selection of Prince Abimbola Owuade as the new Alafin of Oyo, insisting that the process followed all the necessary legal and traditional steps. This is coming after Owuade's selection and approval by the Oyo State government have stirred controversy, especially among the Oyo kingmakers since the announcement. The Oyo kingmakers, in a letter signed by their legal representative, Kunle Sobaloju San, rejected the Owuade's appointment and claimed that the recommended name for the new Alafin was Prince Lukman Badadegesin, not Owuade. The kingmakers also argued that the Bashorun of Oyo, as head of the Oyemesi, was responsible for convening the meeting to select the new Alafin, not the governor, while Makinde said he followed normal procedure to appoint Owuade as the new Alafin. The chief press secretary to the governor, Suleiman Olanrewaju, said the Oyemesi didn't follow due process when they forwarded Badegesin's name. Meanwhile, the Oni of Ife, Enita Ogunwusi, has congratulated Owuade, describing his emergence as a historic moment for the people of Oyo. In a statement by his Director of Media and Public Affairs, Moses Olafare, said Oni celebrated the new Alafin's ascension, stating that the monumental decision heralds a new era of prosperity, unity and cultural preservation for the great people of Oyo. The Oni, who also serves as co-chair of the National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria and permanent chairman of the Southern Nigerian Traditional Rulers Council, praised the patience and the resilience of the royal family, the kingmakers, and the people of Oyo during the over 2-year selection process. He further advised the new Alafin to embrace unity, calling him the father of all and urging him to ensure that every stakeholder in the Oyo kingdom, whether supportive or not, was brought together for the collective growth of the region. Ondo State Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa has pardoned 40 prison inmates to demonstrate his administration's commitment to justice reforms and integrating convicts into the society. According to the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Dr. Olukayode Ajulo San, the pardon highlights the governor's dedication to mercy and rehabilitation. The pardons granted on the recommendation of the Advisory Council on the Prerogative of Mercy include the outright release of 15 convicts effective Sunday, 12th January 2025. A statement titled Ayedatiwa pardons 40 prisoners to celebrate 60th birthday and signed by the governor's chief press secretary Ebenezer Adeniya disclosed the development, said President Bola Tinubu congratulated Ayedatiwa, whose 60th birthday falls on the same day, while in addition to the releases, several death sentences were commuted to life imprisonment, while other inmates had their sentences significantly reduced. Dr. Ajulo, who also chairs the Advisory Council, said the decisions were informed by careful deliberations considering the nature of offences, the inmates' age, health, behaviour and duration of the Council's recommendations were enriched by insights from correctional authorities, legal experts and respected community leaders, ensuring fairness and compassion in the decision-making process. Operatives of the Warewa Division of the Ogun State Police Command have arrested one Sheriff Onyeniyi for allegedly attacking a motorcyclist with a razor blade and inflicting severe deep cuts on his neck in Areropo area of the state. The victim, 27-year-old motorcyclist identified as Ahmed Owolabi, was conveying the suspect to his destination when the incident occurred. Confirming the incident, the command spokesperson Omolola Oduntola said the incident happened at about 4:15 p.m. and upon getting the information, the Warewa Divisional Police officer quickly transported the victim to a hospital for medical attention and arrested the suspect. She said upon interrogation, the suspect whispered that he had previously visited a native doctor, and when questioned if a blood token was required, he said it was the handwork of the devil. Oduntala disclosed that investigation is ongoing and the suspect will be charged in court as soon as it is completed. Several people were reportedly killed in an airstrike in Kakindawa village, Maradun local government area of Zamfara state. A resident of the area said the incident occurred on Saturday evening as local vigilantes were heading to assist neighbors in Tunga Kara village, which had come under attack by bandits. According to Umar, the vigilante group mobilized after receiving reports of bandits rustling livestock and attempting to abduct villagers, adding that 16 people, including his own son, were killed in the airstrike. Reacting to the incident, the spokesperson for Operation Fasan Yama, Lieutenant Colonel Abubakar Abdullahi, on Sunday morning said he would investigate the matter and provide further details. Armed bandits operating under the leadership of a notorious kingpin, Dani Shuhu, have reportedly imposed 172.7 million naira levy on 25 villages in Tafe West local government area of Zamfara state. The bandits also demanded for contributions like bags of soybean, while also threatening the residents with violence. Makama also reported that several residents of the villages have abandoned their homes, farmlands and livelihood over the fear of violent reprisals for failing to meet the demands. This is coming after in November 2024, the Nigerian Air Force said airstrikes conducted in Zamfara state killed many bandits, including key loyalists of the notorious bandit leaders Dan Ishuho and Dago Sule, while 4 days ago, on January 8, 2025, troops of the same Operation Fasanyama reportedly killed the notorious terrorist leader Sani Rusu and scores of his foot soldiers during a gunfight in Bamamu village, Tasfe local government area of Zamfara state. Nigerian Air Force has commenced investigation into allegations of accidental civilian casualties during an airstrike in the Zumi local government area of Zamfara state. The incident occurred on Friday during Operation Fansanyama operation targeting bandits terrorizing the region. Reports emerged after the operation allegedly stated that 16 residents, including members of the Zamfara Community Protection Guard and local vigilantes, were mistakenly killed in the air raid. The Air Force, in an earlier statement, highlighted the success of the operation, which reportedly eliminated key allies of notorious terrorist kingpin Bello Tujiri and rescued kidnapped hostages, and it was silent on claims of civilian casualties. Reacting to the incident, Zamfara State Governor Daudu Lawal issued a statement confirming that some members of the civilian joint task force and vigilantes lost their lives during the airstrike. The NAV spokesperson, Air Vice Marshal Olushola Akimboyewa, in a subsequent statement approved the effectiveness of the operation in demisiting bandits, but expressed concerns over the reports of civilian deaths and described the recent airstrikes at Tugan Kara in Zomi local government area of Zamfara state as a decisive blow to bandits terrorizing villages in the area. He further assured all that the military has initiated a comprehensive probe to ascertain the accuracy of the allegations as a responsible and professional custodian of air power for the nation's security, stressing that the NFA believes in the absolute value of the life of every Nigerian. The NAV spokesperson reiterated the Air Force commitment to protecting civilians, combating banditry and restoring peace in the Northwest, stressing that the mission in the Northwest remains focused towards combating banditry and restore peace, as well as safety and well-being of all Nigerians. Lakurawa bandit has killed 3 staff members of Airtel Communication and 1 other person at Gumki Village, Arewa local government area of Kebbi State. A statement by the spokesperson of the Bauchi Police Command, Nafiu Abubakar, the deceased were killed while installing a surveillance mask for the Nigerian Immigration Service, and Gumi is a community between Nigeria and Niger Republic. Abubakar said additional tactical team had been deployed to the area to decisively deal with the Lakorowa bandits in the area, adding that the Commissioner of Police equally reviewed the security architecture of the area by deploying additional tactical teams and charged them to decisively deal with suspected Lakorowa bandits operating in the area. Jigawa State Judicial Service Commission has dismissed 3 judicial staff for misconduct and also advised 3 Sharia court judges to resign and issued reprimands to 2 others for dereliction of duty. A statement issued in thus by Abbas Wangara, Director of Protocol and Publicity for the Jigawa State Judiciary, at its 178th meeting on January 7th, the Commission approved disciplinary measures against personnel found guilty of violating judicial at its 178th meeting on January 7th, the Commission approved disciplinary measures against personnel found guilty of violating judicial procedures and rules. In the outcome of the meeting signed by Awalu Dan Azumi, Secretary to the JSC, the Commission received the Investigations Committee's report from the High Court Department concerning 2 officers, and the Commission resolved to terminate the service of the 2 officers in accordance with Section 41 of the Judicial Service Commission Law, Cap 20, Laws of Jigawa State 2012. The Commission also dismissed Chief Clerical Officer Abdu Ajura for embezzling 965,000 naira, a litigant deposit in a recovery case filed by Jais Bank at the Chief Magistrate Court in Jahun, while his appointment was terminated under the same legal provisions. The Judiciary Public Complaints Committee presented a report implicating Adamu Farindas, a Sharia court judge, in abusing judicial powers and misapplying the law, adding that despite multiple warnings, the judge was found guilty of official misconduct. The Commission advised him to tender his resignation within 2 weeks under Section 41 of the Judicial Service Commission Law, Cap J20, Law of Jigawa State 2012, while another Sharia court judge, Mohammed Usman, was accused of issuing a right of possession before delivering judgment, a violation of judicial processes. The Commission similarly advised him to resign within 2 weeks. In a separate case, Judge Usman Zubia was found guilty of irregularities in inheritance distribution cases and allowing non-parties to benefit from substantive matters. He was also advised to resign due to repeated warnings for his judicial conduct. Additionally, resident magistrate Munia Abdullahi received the warning for converting a civil matter into a criminal one and exhibiting partisanship. Magistrate Yakubu Ibrahim was also reprimanded for insulting a litigant and using derogatory language during proceedings at the Chief Magistrate Court in Matang Tangari. Wangara said the disciplinary measures are part of the Commission's efforts to ensure a corrupt-free judiciary and maintain high standards of discipline and professionalism, and ensure that the Commission remains committed to a fair and supportive working environment for all judicial employees and will continue to take necessary action to uphold judicial integrity. Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero has rejected the judgment of the appeal court which nullified the federal court order that removed Mohammed Sanusi II as the 16th Emir of Kano. Bayero, who disclosed this, said he is heading to the Supreme Court to challenge the appeal court verdict. Speaking to newsmen at the Nasarawa Palace of the 15th Emir of Kano, the Sakin Dawaki Baba Aminu Baba Dangagudi, who filed the suit that was struck out by the appeal court, said Sanusi did not even understand that he has completely lost out in the whole of the cases at hand, and further warned Sanusi to stop parading himself as the Emir of Kano. He said the police and the DSS to stop Sanusi from allegedly moving around with thugs, accusing the Emir of peace in Kano, stressing that Sanusi will not claim victory until the Supreme Court judgment has been given. This is coming after the Attorney General and Speaker of the Kano State Assembly went to court seeking to stop Bayero from parading himself as Emir, but the appeal court rejected that position and said Bayero was not given fair hearing. You're watching The Transition on Atlantic Television Network. We'll return shortly after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. This is Atlantic Television Network Transition. Now, the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has ordered Nigeria's military personnel to be expressly prohibited from engaging in homosexuality, lesbianism, bestiality, cross-dressing, and other acts deemed contrary to the ethics of the armed forces. The personnel are equally barred from body piercing, tattooing, disorderly behavior, and drunkenness on or off duty. The directive is contained in Section 26 of the revised Harmonized Armed Forces Terms and Conditions of Service signed by President Bola Tinubu on December 16, 2024. The condition of service also forbids the involvement of officers in amorous relationships with subordinates or their spouses, and the military personnel are obligated to pay financial dues, including vehicle licenses and insurance, on time, while they are prohibited from joining secret societies or political parties. Having a private business and misuse of government property for personal gain are also prohibited for serving personnel, and the punishments or disciplinary measures against any personnel who violates the rules were, however, not stated. Federal government has earmarked 2.1 billion naira in the proposed 2025 budget for the posting and return entitlement of ambassadors and officers in the Foreign Affairs Ministry. A sum of 53 billion naira has been proposed for the renovation of 103 foreign missions, covering chanceries, staff quarters, and ambassadors' residence, office furniture, and official vehicles. President Bola Tinubu recalled 83 ambassadors in September 2023 to reassess Nigeria's foreign policy, and the process of appointing new envoys has faced delays due to financial constraints. Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga, who confirmed the funding shortfall, said appointing ambassadors without adequate resources for their travel and effective mission operations would be counterproductive. The President's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, clarified that the nomination of ambassadors involves both career and political appointees, requiring thorough vetting and National Assembly approval. A former consul to Cameroon, Rashid Akinkoli, stressed the importance of functional embassies for maintaining diplomatic relations, while a retired Nigerian ambassador to Mexico, Ogbole Omedu Ude, warned that the prolonged absence of envoys would damage Nigeria's international reputation, especially given the funding challenges faced by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji Ojo says the initiated e-border surveillance system has been effective for border security. The initiative was launched on December 14, 2024 at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu Technology Innovation Complex and aims at combating irregular migration and enhanced border security. A statement said that technology recorded significant progress since its deployment, and one of the most remarkable outcomes of the e-border system was its role in identifying and capturing persons of interest. He also mentioned that the integration of Interpol data and other national security databases had significantly enhanced the ability to detect and respond to threats at our borders, adding that within a few weeks of operation, the minister says the system successfully flagged and detained individuals with criminal records or suspicious activities. Now, the House of Representatives has taken a step to strengthen anti-corruption fight with the introduction of a bill to encourage whistleblowers to expose corrupt practices, particularly in the public sector. The bill, which proposes a fine of 2 million naira or 2 years imprisonment for disclosing a piece of confidential information provided by a whistleblower, may be considered as lawmakers are set to debate its general principles upon resumption of plenary duty next week. This is coming after it was read on the floor of the House for the first time on November 21st, 2024. The whistleblowing bill seeks a legal and institutional framework for the regulation and management of whistleblowing and the protection of whistleblowers in Nigeria. A copy of the bill, sponsored by the spokesman for the House of Reps, Akin Rotimi, showed that the proposed legislation aims to encourage and facilitate disclosure of unlawful activities that impact the management of public and private offices as well as national security, and it also seeks to protect whistleblowers from reprisal or other adverse consequences. The proposed law, according to Rotimi, shall apply to whistleblowers and whistleblowing in relation to unlawful activities or offenses under any legislation relating to terrorism, money laundering, prevention, and prohibition, while Part 2 of the bill provides for the establishment of the National Office and National Council for Whistleblowing and Protection of Whistleblowers. The bill is expected to undergo further legislative action in the weeks ahead as the House reconvenes for plenary duty on January 14, 2025. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project has filed a lawsuit against the Nigerian government and the 36 states over the Cyber Crimes Amendment Act 2024. SERAP is arguing that the repressive use of the Cyber Crimes Amendment Act 2024 by the government to criminalize legitimate expression violates the human rights of Nigerians, including activists, journalists, bloggers, and social media users. The suit was filed on behalf of SERAP by its lawyer, Kolawole Oluwadare, Mrs. Adelanke Aremu, and Andrew Nwankwo. In the suit filed last week before the ECOWAS court in Abuja, SERAP is challenging the legality and compatibility of the provision of the Cybercrime Prohibition Prevention (ETC) Amendment Act 2024 with the rights to freedom of expression and information. According to SERAP, Nigerian authorities are routinely weaponizing it to curb Nigerians' human rights and media freedom, insisting that the law would cause a reasonable person to feel fear in addition to its arbitrary, vague, and repressive stance. SERAP also said the provisions of the Cyber Crimes Amendment Act 2024 represent a harshly punitive attempt to address the problems relating to stalking and harassment and fails to provide sufficient safeguards against misuse, particularly for peaceful and legitimate exercise of human rights, adding that the use of Section 24 of the Cybercrime Amendment Act of 2024 to harass those who are deemed critical of the government directly threatens the staff, members, and supporters of SERAP, particularly given the nature of the organization's advocacy for human rights. SERAP further insists that freedom of expression is a fundamental human right and central to developing democracy and should be respected in the current dispensation. In view of the appointment of Professor Aisha Maikodi as Vice Chancellor of the University of Abuja, the matter is yet to settle some aggrieved professors from the university who have called for the investigation of over 3 billion naira alleged fraud uncovered by a report of the 2021 Presidential Visitation Panel to the university for the 2019-2020 academic session. While the university has denied breaching any laws in the appointment of Maikodi, the lecturers who pleaded anonymity claimed there was a sinister ploy by individuals complicit in the alleged fraud to put her at the helm of affairs in order to deter any investigation. According to them, the report, which was submitted to former Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, and published on the ministry's website, showed there were a series of discrepancies in audited reports during the 2019-2020 session, while that there was failure of the then governing council to take measures to correct them. They further alleged the correlation between the appointment of Professor Aisha Maikudi as Vice Chancellor of the university and attempts to cover up activities of the then governing council, which was chaired by Alhaji Sani Maikudi, father of the VC. This is coming after, on June 11, 2021, the Presidential Visitation Panel to the University of Abuja, chaired by Alhaji Buja Goni Aji, which was inaugurated on 13th April 2021, submitted his reports within 60 days, covering 2011 to 2015 and 2016 to 2020. The panel observed that the Governing Council had taken steps to bolster the IGPR of the university through upward review of student fees and blocking of leakages in payments. Meanwhile, the lecturers who spoke to newsmen over the weekend alleged that the past VC of the university was in cahoots with the current one to ensure that no action is taken on the damning reports. Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide Youth Wing, led by Chukwuma Okpalanzeku, has congratulated Senator John Azuta Mbata on his emergence as the 13th President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo. The group noted that Mbata, a former senator representing Rivers East Senatorial District from 1999 to 2007, distinguished himself among other contenders due to his exemplary leadership qualities. A statement signed and released by the spokesman for the youth wing, Mazi Chika at Adele, the group described Mbata as a remarkable leader with outstanding character who is proud to identify as a bona fide Igbo son from River State. Similarly, the National Vice Chairman of the Ohaneze Ndigbo Worldwide Youth Wing, Mazi Winkleus Ogbonaya, described Mbata's election as meritorious, well-deserved, and a step towards leading the Igbo people to greater heights. The youth wing also expressed prayers for Senator Mbata's good health, enabling him to fulfill his mandate and uphold the legacies of forebearers like the late Senator Obi Wali, Chief Emmanuel Aguma, Chief Jackson Mpi, and His Royal Majesty Eze C.C. Nweche. And now to some business reports. Central Bank of Nigeria has suspended approvals for the extension of export proceeds repatriation on behalf of exporters. This directive, issued via a circular dated June 8, 2025, applies to both oil and non-oil export transactions, while the CBN explained that the move aims to enforce compliance with existing foreign exchange regulations. The statement, signed by the Acting Director of CBN's Trade and Exchange Department, Dr. W.J. Kanya, the circular outlined provisions in the Foreign Exchange Manual as the basis for the decision. These provisions include Memorandum 10A, 23A, and Memorandum 10B, 20A, while the CBN said it would no longer grant extension from the repatriation of export proceeds requested by authorized dealer banks on behalf of their customers. Exporters are now required to adhere strictly to the stipulated timelines for repatriation, adding that proceeds from non-oil exports must be repatriated within 180 days from the bill of lading date, while oil and gas export proceeds must be repatriated within 90 days. The Apex Bank stressed that the timelines are non-negotiable and the development imposes stricter obligations on exporters and their authorized dealer banks to comply with the repatriation rules, and banks are expected to notify their clients of the updated regulations and ensure adherence, while the CBN warned that non-compliance could attract penalties or other regulatory actions. The policy is part of the CBN's effort to enhance policy and foreign exchange inflows and bolster the country's reserve. And last year, the CBN introduced measures affecting international oil companies operating in Nigeria, limiting their ability to immediately remit 100% of forex proceeds to their parent companies abroad. Federal government says consolidated financial statement for 2022 has been delayed due to challenges in reconciling the Consolidated Revenue Fund bank statement with the Central Bank of Nigeria. Accountant General of the Federation, Dr. Oluwatoyin Maiden, disclosed this during an oversight visit by the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts to the Treasury House in Abuja on January 8, 2024. A statement by Bawa Moka, the Director of Press at the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Maiden, said since her resumption of office in May 2023, the federal government's consolidated financial statement had been prepared and audited up to December 31st, 2019. The AGF also revealed efforts to tackle Nigeria's revenue challenges through aggressive revenue drives, which she said had improved funding for personnel costs, overheads, and capital projects in 2024, adding that her office had proposed enhancements to the Federal Integrated Financial Management Information System and the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System aimed at strengthening financial management with the support of the National Assembly. In response, the chairman of the House Committee on Public Accounts, Honorable Bamidele Salam, urged the AGF to expedite the submission of the 2022 consolidated financial statement as required by the 1999 Constitution, and also highlighted concerns over low revenue remittances by government-owned enterprises, calling for stricter measures to block revenue leakages through automation and regular audits. The AGF's office pledged continuous effort to enhance fiscal transparency and address revenue shortfalls. Restaurant fire outbreak in the northwest city of Czech Republic has killed at least 6 people and injured 8. Local fire service said the inferno spread extremely fast after a patio gas heater was probably knocked over. It was gathered that the fire broke out in a wooden bar garden adjacent to the U Kojota restaurant at a housing estate in the city of Most, about 700 kilometers northwest of the capital, Paraguay. According to the fire service, the incident was reported and was under control by midnight, adding that 8 others were injured and all were taken to the hospital with burns. Regional Emergency Service Director Peter Burris said 5 were taken to Paraguay, 2 to the Most Hospital and 1 to the regional capital of Usti nad Labem. Meanwhile, the Interior Minister Vitrus Khan said on X that about 30 people were evacuated from the restaurant and an adjacent block or flats. Incoming President of the United States, Donald Trump, has accused California officials of incompetence over their handling of deadly wildfires raging across Los Angeles. In a post on his Truth Social platform, Trump said incompetent politicians had no idea how to put out the raging fires, stressing that the speed and intensity of the blazes ravaging Los Angeles have tested firefighters' infrastructure and given rise to questions and criticism about the state's preparedness. It was gathered that hydrants ran dry in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood as it was ravaged by one of the region's 5 separate fires, while water shortages additionally hampered efforts elsewhere. With just over a week before he returns to the White House, Trump has launched a series of evidence-free broadlines accusing California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom of failings in responses to the blazes. Meanwhile, Newsom has invited Trump to visit Los Angeles and survey the devastation with him, while the fires have so far killed at least 16 people, displaced 150,000 more, and destroyed more than 12,000 structures. Despite firefighters' efforts, including precision shots from aerial views, the Palisades fire has continued to push east towards the priceless collection of the Getty Center Art Museum and north to the densely populated San Fernando Valley. South Korea's suspended President Yoon Suk-yeol will not attend the first hearing of his impeachment trial next week because of safety concerns. Yon has been holed up in the presidential residence and protected by an elite guard force since being suspended and impeached last month following a short-lived declaration of martial law that plunged the country into political chaos. He has refused to meet prosecutors and investigators, and earlier this month, his presidential guard unit thwarted an attempt to arrest him following a tense hours-long standoff. The Constitutional Court has scheduled 5 trial dates spanning January 14th to February 4th, which will proceed in his absence if he does not attend, and the court will decide whether to uphold his impeachment or restore him to office. A team of Corruption Investigation Office said investigators and police are planning for the next attempt, which they said could be their last, while the National Office of Investigation or Police Unit sent a note to high-ranking police officials in Seoul requesting they prepare to mobilize 1,000 investigators for the fresh attempt. South Korean lawmaker, while citing information from Seoul's spy agency, said about 300 North Korean soldiers have been killed and 2,700 wounded while fighting in Russia's war against Ukraine. North Korea leader Kim Jong-un has sent more than 10,000 soldiers as cannon fodder to help Moscow fight Kyiv in return for Russian tactical assistance for Pyongyang's heavily sanctioned weapons and satellite programs. Over the weekend, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Kyiv had captured 2 North Korean soldiers, releasing video of the injured combatants being interrogated and raising the possibility of a prisoner swap for captured Ukrainian troops. The soldiers, reportedly from North Korea's elite storm corps, have been ordered to kill themselves rather than be taken prisoners, adding that some of the soldiers have been granted amnesty or wanted to join North Korea's ruling Workers' Party, hoping to improve their lots by fighting. One North Korean soldier who was about to be captured shouted General Kim Jong-un and attempted to detonate a grenade, but he was shot and killed. In a post on social media platform X, Zelensky said Ukraine is ready to hand over Kim Jong-un's soldiers to him if he can organize their exchange for their warriors who are being held captive in Russia, stressing that there would undoubtedly be more North Korean soldiers captured by Kyiv. Ukraine, the United Nations and United States and South Korea have accused nuclear-armed North Korea of sending more than 10,000 soldiers to help bolster Russian forces, adding that neither Moscow nor Pyongyang has acknowledged that North Koreans have been deployed to fight against Ukraine. Eric Sechel has admitted that his personal ambition has led him to leave MC Oran to take the Super Eagles job and has offered his gratitude to the Algerian club and its fans. Sechel said by the offer to lead the 3-time African champions. The Nigeria Football Federation has already announced Sechel as the next coach of the national team last week. But the Malian took charge of MC Orion for the last time on Saturday, recording a 1-0 win over USM Setif, qualifying them for the quarter-final of the Algerian Cup. Arsenal winger Bukayo Saka has returned to the training ground after surgery on his injured hamstring. Manager Mikel Arteta has told Saka he can use his injury layoff to return a better person. The 23-year-old suffered injury last month against Crystal Palace and is likely to be out until March after having surgery. But Arteta has confirmed that Saka has repeatedly visited the club's sub-high reality. Singer Dako has accused Peter Okoye of the P-Square duo for allegedly sabotaging her new single. Dako, in a viral post on her X handle, accused Peter Okoye, popularly known as Mr. P, of taking down the video of her newly released song Focus on Me on YouTube, adding that Focus on Me was released on January 2nd, 2024 and was taken down over copyright infringement. Expressing her disappointment, Dako claimed that Okoye was acting out of spite because she didn't accede to his request to be featured, adding that Peter refused to be appeased despite promising to make him a part of the remix. Peter Okoye is yet to react to the allegation as he makes the news for controversial reasons again, with the last being the disputes between his twin and senior brother Paul and Jude Okoye. Cross-dresser Idris Oguneye, popularly known as Bobrisky, has appealed to singer Burna Boy to secure the release of his colleague Speed Darlington. This is coming after Speed Darlington was arrested after suggesting that Burna Boy had an illicit relationship with battled American music executive Diddy in a bid to win a Grammy. Darlington's continued detention, despite a court order for his release, has elicited mixed reactions both online and offline. And while joining the call for the rapper's release, socialite Bobrisky appealed to Burna Boy to intervene, stressing that 45 days in detention was enough punishment. And that's the size of the package. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Otaria Benjamin.
Front lines across the